Hey, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to give you some tips on overnight trains. We recently took one from Orlando, Florida to Washington, D.C. and have a few tips if you're planning on doing an overnight train ride. Now, this is probably not applicable to all trains, but I would say the majority where you're riding coach or even in a suite, but maybe not like the $20,000 like Indian Express ones.
This definitely is more for like an overnight train with a smaller bedroom, especially kind of like the Amtrak train that we took. So if you haven't seen that previous video, I'll put a link in the description, and I'll also try to put like a little card up here. So go and watch that, especially if you're interested in like train travel, especially in the United States. This is actually our first ever overnight train. So it was kind of an experience for us. We had been on trains in Europe, and I had been on a train in the US before, but only for kind of like a few hours at a time. So we wanted to share a few tips. We actually talked about it a lot, like what would we do next time? Like how would we do this better? What would we want to know before we take another train? So hopefully that kind of helps put it in perspective. And hopefully this helps you if you're planning on taking a train.
All right. So first tip is pack light. And so we took backpacks. I took one backpack. Ben took two backpacks, one for his clothes and stuff and one for camera gear, because we always have camera gear with us. How we would change that is we would definitely only do two backpacks. The suite, we did have a bedroom on the train, but it was very small, and there's space for about one carry-on total. There's one little shelf for a carry-on, and that's it. So definitely try to minimize your packing if you can. I mean, there are some situations where you have to take your suitcase with you, and it is what it is. But for us, we were able to leave a lot of stuff in our truck that was on the train with us and just take our backpacks with our overnight stuff. So that's the first tip.
Yeah, and I think I'll add two like little tiny things to that. Like one of the reasons that I think we brought so much is that like specifically in the instructions it said, hey, don't leave anything valuable in your car. So that's, of course, why we brought all the camera gear, and I definitely would do that part again, because somebody does like physically get in your vehicle, you give them your keys to take the vehicle. So I think that's part of the reason that we tried to pack as much as we could. I think next time, I don't think I would be trying to take as many clothes. Since this was like only like an overnight train, all you really needed to bring was like a pair of pajamas or like a single set of clothes. Alrighty, so the second tip is actually more of like a conglomeration of like tips around like sleeping. So if you're planning on getting on this train and going right to sleep, that will only really work if you're a really, really deep sleeper. If you're any bit of a normal sleeper, you'll definitely want earplugs. I definitely think that was key. That really helped me get to sleep. But if you have anything else that kind of like really helps you get to sleep, like eye masks or music or anything like that, definitely
Melatonin.
Yeah, melatonin or anything that you like need to help you sleep, definitely bring that on board. The train is going to be, at least the one that we took, was a pretty rough ride. I'm sure in Europe, a lot of the train rails are like high-speed rails, so they're definitely a lot smoother. But at least in the US, and at least on the train that we took, it got pretty rough at certain points of the night. It did kind of feel like we were like off-roading. We were on the second story, so like the pendulum effect kind of comes into play there, and it really you really get kind of swung around a lot more.
Tip number 3 is to just bring your own soap and shampoo. They did have like a bar of soap. They actually did not have any shampoo, which most people bring that when they travel anyways. I typically don't if I know I'm going to be staying in hotel rooms the entire time. It's just to save space in my luggage. But yes, bring soap and shampoo. Unless you're not going to shower, then do what you want. But otherwise, they had towels and washcloths and stuff for us. But yeah, toiletries. Tip
number 4 is actually to bring snacks. This is something that we tried to do and kind of failed miserably. This is something we, if you go watch the other video, I won't explain too much of it, but we ended up leaving our snacks in the car because we were kind of rushed to get out of our vehicle. And my recommendation on any overnight train would definitely be to bring snacks, bring food that you like. because if they're serving food that you're not a big fan of, or something that you have a specific dietary restriction, or maybe you just get randomly hungry every 2 hours like me, I would definitely plan on bringing some snacks. Just definitely also because the food on the train was not cheap, especially to kind of buy outright. But dinner and breakfast was included with because I think we got the bedroom suite, or bedroom. I think it was just called the bedroom. Because we got that, that did save us some money on, we didn't have to purchase lunch or breakfast. But if you were probably in any other area, I definitely think that they have pretty expensive stuff. I think like a small stromboli or something was like $7. So, but there also was coffee, hot water for tea, or like hot cocoa or stuff like that. So they had like a few drink mixes. I did not see any like fresh cold water. And I actually don't know if the sink water was like drinkable, but maybe bring a bottle of water if it's only like a single overnight. But
tip number 5 is to download your entertainment beforehand. So this train that we took actually did have Wi-Fi, and we've taken other trains that do not have Wi-Fi. So if you are planning on downloading a book or watching Netflix or something like that on the train, make sure you download those beforehand, because you never know if you're going to get good internet or not on the train. And then you could be left for a 16-hour train ride with no entertainment. So it didn't happen to us. Our Wi-Fi was actually okay. It wasn't too bad, but it was a struggle to load some YouTube videos. So definitely recommend downloading your entertainment beforehand.
Yeah. All right. So number 6 is actually one of the things that we were actually told while we were on the train, and we kind of regretted not doing before we got on the train. And that was pay for priority offloading of your car. So I think if you're going to be taking that same train, or basically any other auto train, I would definitely pay for priority offloading of your car or vehicle. That definitely saved people a lot of time. I think it would have saved us almost an hour, maybe even more. It does take a while to offload your car. It doesn't seem to really matter how early you get there to drop off your vehicle, or how late you get there to drop off your vehicle. It all seems to be kind of how just happenstance of where your car is in the lineup to get offloaded. The numbers don't really mean anything. They called out all different numbers all over the range, so it definitely doesn't matter. So if I were you, it's $95. If you're in a rush, just pay for it. If you're not in a rush, just be prepared to wait at least an hour, maybe even 2 hours, to be able to pick up your vehicle afterwards. All right, so that was kind of our tips that hopefully will really help you out if you're planning on taking an overnight train in the future. If you want more content like this, because I think we've been making a wide variety of kind of content and kind of explaining our travels. So if you want more stuff like this, feel free to comment down below. Also, if you have any additional questions that we didn't cover, if you want to know more about our experience, I'll try to answer a bunch of the comments below. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask there. Also, we are trying to kind of grow subscribers, so it'd be really nice if you could subscribe to our channel. We try to post videos about tech content, food, and travel. So that's really kind of the 3 things that we try to focus on. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.